Hello everybody, Andy here again, day 34. As per usual, I shall put the figures down there, and as is sort of expected in some ways, over the weekend the numbers have gone down, which is good. The daily deaths yesterday in hospital, 413, so that makes the total now 20,732. The daily album yesterday, look, I've even got it here, about that for an album cover. 1982, ABC's The Lexicon of Love. I was going to play that anyway. I started to play it, then I suddenly realised that I got it on vinyl from way back. I'm absolutely inside right, actually. Great. Something about that, isn't it? I mean, I used to have this back in the day, but I think I got rid of it, as I did with so many of my albums, as we all did, didn't we? Got rid of them and then think, why did I do that? We did it because they were bulky and they were heavy and we were moving around. That's the reason we did it, even if we regret it now. Still a good album, though. Excellent production by Trevor Horn. And some great songs as well, you know. If you like that, I've got a pretty wide taste, as you can imagine. So anyway, Boris is back. He's made a statement actually this morning, before I recorded this, obviously. Saying that he's back and, you know, where we are, and he's saying that he thinks that we may have sort of peaked in our coronavirus here, the pandemic, how it is. But, as he's pointed out, now is not the time to sort of start easing things too quickly. I think he's making a statement of intent there. What I wanted to talk about today, actually, was about that in some ways, because I've been doing this 34 days now, and obviously there's certain things are going to be repeated because you're thinking about how things are going. I mean, when I first started this, obviously I had no idea how long they're going to go on for. I still don't know, for that matter. I could see it was going to be a long time, but it may be even longer than what we thought at the time, as I've mentioned in other videos. But it's the way that things are changing. I mean, I wrote down this sort of BC, before coronavirus, that old life that we used to have. You know, we used to use BC for something completely different, obviously, before Christ. Now it's BC, before coronavirus. And that isn't that long ago. 2 months ago, maximum, here in the UK, was a completely different life. Different world, different life. I mean, it's changed. The whole world has changed. It's changed for everybody, probably in the world. That date might be slightly different wherever you live. But even over the last few weeks, when we've been living under the lockdown, and it can only be worse in other countries because their lockdowns are far more severe than they are here. But even so, it's come to light here as to how it's changing. I mean, we're all changing. It's changing all of our moods. It's changing us mentally, and that's a huge thing. And there's lots of other things going on because of people living close together with abuse and all that, which is horrendous, which is a consequence of where we are and the life that we are living now. But I saw something in the paper yesterday, actually, and it was... my glasses on for this, which sort of brought it home, actually, because I mentioned before about the mass observation surveys that have been going on since the Second World War, basically, before then, with people writing diaries. That is still going on to an extent now, but there's a report from something that's a similar type of thing, and it's something called, Britain Thinks. And it's a website, a service that it's a consultancy, I suppose, for so many different companies, multinationals, local companies, etc., that use these people, and they do surveys about just about everything, you know, political problems, you know, and even about equality, etc. But obviously at the moment they're concentrating on what the coronavirus is, and what they've done, it's a collection of lockdown diaries compiled by 50 Britons over 3 weeks, and it's revealing a complete contrast between those who can cope, they can afford to cope, and those who can't, families that are struggling to maintain their physical and mental health. And what it was saying, that over the last 3 weeks or so, since they've been compiling these diaries from these 50 people, and it's a right cross-section of people, every sort of sector of society that you can think of. Obviously it has to be, doesn't it? But it's saying, over the last week, emotionally, the mood of the nation has plummeted. Prior to the pandemic, YouGov, which is a polling organisation, showed that 50% of Britons said they were happy. This is now down to 26%, while stress has surged. In week one of this survey, logged in March, hopeful, calm and grateful were the terms most used by the diarists, reflecting on the situation. People appreciated life slowing down and having the opportunity to reconnect with old friends online. And a third said that they would learn a new skill. We've all talked about that. I've talked about that, and how certain aspects of it were quite refreshing in a way. But by the end of week 3, The novelty of baking and bonding with family had worn thin. Worried, frustrated, and bored were now the descriptive words used to describe the current situation. And I think that's it, isn't it? That's where we are. We're in this. I say we've changed. The world has changed, and just in that short time, we've gone from even something some people feel feeling quite good about it. I mean, if you for different people, it's obviously affecting them in completely different ways wherever you are in this sort of spectrum. I mean, if you're well off, it mentions that in there. There's obviously people in there who are retired, who are very comfortable, who are fit and who are healthy, and etc. It's not bothering them particularly because their life hasn't changed particularly. But for other people, and it's affected everybody's lives, admittedly, but obviously some people it's affected them far more than others. So where's the mood going to be in the next 3 or 4 weeks? Because we're not going to change from what, Boris has made that point basically without saying so specifically. I think he's made that point today that we're not going to be changing our lockdown for a while yet because he doesn't want to see another spike. I understand that and I accept that. But also I've seen reports of, like in France and places like that, the percentage of the population that are supporting the lockdown that they've got there now is plummeting as well. It's at least under 50% over there. I don't know what the figures are here, but I suspect those figures are going down as it starts to affect us in so many different ways and other things start to come into fruition, like the money starts running out and that type of thing. We may be in it for the long haul, but that long haul is not going to be particularly good. Another pessimistic viewpoint, I know, but just trying to be realistic because, as I said before, part of the reason of doing this diary is to record thoughts as they are on the particular day that these videos are recorded so that I can look back. I'll even look back at some of the videos from 3 or 4 weeks ago that I started, maybe number 1, 2, 3 or 4, and I bet you there'd be a difference to the way I'm speaking now, maybe even the way I'm acting, the way I'm feeling, so then that's partly what all these diaries are about and what those diaries are there about Britain thinks as well. So it'll be interesting to see how that comes along in the future and how in 3 weeks' time, a month's time, what the difference will be. It'll be interesting. Anyway, stay safe, stay strong, stay at home, and hopefully I shall speak to you again tomorrow. Goodbye.